Hi, I'm Scott. Welcome back to Synth Stuff. Today we're going to be looking back at the Hydrasynth. I haven't talked about the Hydrasynth in a while, and the reason I'm looking at it today is because I got a library that I actually bought online because I was so impressed by it. And it's something unique that really shows off the ability of the Hydrasynth to emulate an analog synth. Coming up. This library is called 40 Nostalgic Patches from Push-Pull. I'll put a link to it in the description below. It's not an affiliate link, I don't get anything from it. I just thought it was a well-done library. Since the Hydrasynth was released, people have complained that it's very digital and cold sounding, and yes, it can do that. So yes, it can sound cold and digital, but with this new set of patches, it actually can do a fairly good job at emulating classic analog synthesizers. The patches that he's put in them, he has modeled off the Juno 106 and the JX3P, which I don't have. However, I do have a JX3P and ACB inside my System 8, as well as in the Fantom. So we can do a little comparison there and just talk about emulations in general and what you might want to know about in terms of Roland ACB emulations, particularly in those two synths. You start up with one called JX Strings. And you'll notice he has set up macro knobs for each of these patches so that they actually do something. So if I want to turn on the chorus, you can change the gate. And by default, none of these patches have any delay or reverb set up with them. So we can add that in just by twisting these macro knobs. Couple JX organs, clavinet, flutes, vibratones, all the classic sounds, distorted guitar. Well, that's interesting. When you start playing, the filter plays wherever it happens to be modulated. Nice sync. What else we got in here? Now, ooh, that's shaking the room in here. That's lower than my subwoofer can play. Cool. Jupiter brass. Lush pad. Lipson pad. Oh, interesting. Hear how the two oscillators are detuned at the beginning of the sound. Cool. EP. These are all JX sounds. Let's move up into the 106. Here we have a 106 synth brass. That sounds familiar. That sounds like the default on the Juno 106, and I have a Juno 106, so let's compare it. All right, let me bring up the 106 on the mixer, and you're going to hear some noise, and we'll talk about that in a moment. If I bring it up, you can hear it. A little bit of a ground loop because of a jack problem on the 106, but also you hear that hissing noise. And that hissing noise is the Juno 106 chorus. So if I turn the chorus off, that hissing goes away. If I turn on chorus 2, you get even more of the hiss. So that is a classic Juno 106 problem. Not a problem, it's just a side effect of what the Juno 106 does and how the Bucket Brigade device inside it makes its chorus sound. I'd say the Hydrasynth version has more top end, or more bottom end rather, and the decay is too long. And let's turn on its chorus as well. Ooh. And for this one, it has settings in here for chorus 1 and chorus 2. The default for this sound is actually chorus 1. So let's turn chorus 1 on. And it looks like my chorus 1 LED is failing on my 106. Life with vintage synthesizers. Okay, so let's turn on chorus 1. And I turn the decay down a bit. That's pretty close. Sounds pretty good to me. So that's a pretty good replica of that 106 synth brass sound. Name that song. My fellow Canadians will be able to tell you. Oh, and by the way, check out my shirt. Talking about Canadians. This came from the Synth Samurai. I've talked about him in my last video. I actually meant to wear this shirt in the last video when I was talking about him, but I forgot. But he sent me this for free. Thanks. And you should really check out his channel. He's got a cool channel where he kind of does this cross between synthesizers and pro wrestling. And you wouldn't think that would work, but it kind of does. Anyway, so this made me laugh because it looks like it's like a Harley Davidson biker shirt. You know, all gas, no brakes. But then you realize it's gear acquisition syndrome and no brakes, and you got the pulse waves in there, and yeah, it made me laugh, the play on words. So if you want a shirt like this, he's got them on his channel, and he's got quite a few really cool shirts that he designs. I mentioned the noise on the chorus on the Juno 106, and that is something that can be a problem with the Fantom and the System 8 and other Roland things, including Roland Cloud, that do true ACB emulations of synthesizers. ACB is analog circuit behavior, so they are actually modeling physical circuitry inside that synthesizer, including the Bucket Brigade device chips inside the 106 that are actually doing the chorus functionality. And those noisy Bucket Brigade devices are the cause of that swirling noise. I have seen several posts online where people bought a Fantom EX with the ACB in it, and when they turned it on, they're playing some patches, and they say, I get all this noise out of it, I think it's broken. And a couple of them actually sent them back because they thought their synths were broken. They're not broken, they're just emulating the Juno 106 chorus noise, and that's the noise it makes. Roland does have a way of turning that off, and of course they've buried it in menus, but I'm going to show you how to do it both in the EX and on the System 8, and then we'll get back to more of the patches on the Hydrasynth. I have a JX3P patch loaded in here. You can see it is an ACB patch, and you can hear that noise. It is making a lot of noise. I've got it turned way up so you can hear it, but you can hear that swirling noise in there. So if we want to get rid of that for this patch, we hit Parameters, and it brings us to the JX3P ACB screen, and we want to go to Pro Mode, and then we can go to Effects, and if you can see here, we have the effect type is set to chorus, and the effect tone is at 128. So we can change that just by turning this knob here. As you can see, turn it down, it goes away. So it doesn't get rid of the chorus functionality, but it just gets rid of that background noise, that spurious noise that is the history of the Juno 106 and the JX3P, which use the same chorus circuitry. We can do the same thing on the System 8. I've got actually, no, this is my Juno 106 I've got loaded in here. So I have a Juno 106 patch loaded. If I just go into the menu and we want to go into patch effects, so you need to scroll till you get to patch effects, enter, and there we go, patch tone right there. So the effects again are the chorus, so we want to get rid of that tone. And as we do, you can hear that hiss goes away. And of course you can exaggerate it. You can say, hey, I want my Bucket Brigade device to be in really bad shape, crank it way up. Now we have tons of swirling noise, but let's get rid of that because we don't want that. And for both of these synthesizers, this parameter is saved on a per patch level, so you need to save this if you want to get rid of the chorus noise. Unfortunately, there's no way to tell the synthesizer to never show or never make that noise for any of the patches. You have to do it patch by patch. All right, let's get back to having a look at some of these analog patches on the Hydrasynth. There's a pop organ. That's really nice. Of course, you can still modify the filters and so on. That's a really nice sounding pad. I really like that. Bright synth. Nice. Plucky. Angels. I noticed from what I've seen here, there's no aftertouch in any of these, which of course they're being modeled after classic 80 synths that didn't have aftertouch. It's not surprising. Vibra keys. Solid synth, this is called. Wow, that's got some solid heft to it. Let's once I bring the morph up in that, and it brings a little bit of chorus. Well, that's got almost an Oberheim feel. And if it's an Oberheim, then sorry, I have to do it. Missed the bottom. Whatever. You know it. You know what I'm doing. I'm not playing it again. Sorry. Had to do it. Milano bass. Ooh, I like this one. We go into delay here and just change our feedback down a bit. That's a very usable sound. I really like that sound. And it's like I said, all of these come fairly dry and you can add the effects in as you like. Oh, it's got a sub bass behind that leaves behind if you sustain it. Square wave pad. I like that one too. That's supposed to be bells. Yeah, you can't do bells great on a subtractive synth, really. Violin. Okay. Neptune. And that's the last one, Neptune. So part of the fun in this is getting something like this and like, how did he do this? He's got some noise in there. We can, I hear a sub oscillator. So if we look at our oscillators here, we can say, nope, nope. Yep, okay, there we go. Minus 12, so he's got an octave below and oscillator 3. Amazing, I've done an entire video without touching the montage once. So that is the 40 nostalgic analog sounding patches from Push-Pull for the Hydrasynth. I paid $10 for that. $10 for 40 patches, and you got some really usable stuff in there. And even if it's not something you can use right off the bat, it's easy to modify to make it something that you can use. I think that's for $10. Check out the link below. Again, I'm not sponsoring it or affiliated in any way. I just think it's a decent set of patches. And it sounds really analog on a digital synth. And if you are a beginner to the Hydrasynth, this is actually a great set of patches to work with because they're fairly simple. In all the patches I went through, I didn't see a single one in there that was using the mod matrix. They are using macros, but there is no secret behind the scenes modulation going on that you have to trace through the mod matrix in order to figure out how it's working. It's all right there because they're emulating fairly simple patches made on 1980s era synthesizers that were fairly simple. So the patches by definition then are fairly simple, easy to deconstruct, and easy to modify to make them do things that you want to do. So I think that's a really great set of patches for you if you are a newbie on the Hydrasynth and just want to learn how patches are put together. That's an excellent way of doing it. And of course, if you are playing in an 80s band and you just need sounds from a JX3P or Juno 106, there they are, right there, $10. There's your sound. Also, don't forget, check out Synth Samurai. I put a link to his video up here and down below. Check out one of his t-shirts. His t-shirts, I mean, this one made me laugh. This is, I think, probably the best one. But he's got quite a few different ones that he's put in there. Nice guy, even for being a newfie. I can say that because I'm from Canada. But check out his channel. He's doing some really unique and interesting things. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, leave them in the comments section below. If you like this video, click like, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.